There's something unusual happening inside your mind right now. As you're watching this, part of your brain is constantly deciding whether to stay focused or switch to something easier and more stimulating. This silent calculation happens thousands of times every single day, and over time, it slowly erodes your ability to do anything truly important. But what if the same brain mechanism that makes you avoid difficult work could be reversed? What if it could be trained to desire effort instead? What if discipline could feel just as rewarding as endless scrolling? This isn't motivational hype. This is neuroscience. And once you understand how your brain actually functions, you'll finally see why relying on willpower hasn't worked and what you should be doing instead. Your brain follows a simple rule. It's always searching for the best return on energy spent. Every action you consider is instantly evaluated through this lens. When something requires high effort with an uncertain payoff, your brain slams the brakes. When something offers easy pleasure with minimal effort, it gives a green light. This isn't a flaw in your personality, it's ancient survival wiring from a time when conserving energy meant staying alive. The problem is that this ancient system now exists in a modern world designed specifically to exploit it. Every app, every snack, every piece of content has been carefully engineered to activate the exact neural circuits that create pleasure with almost no effort. Your brain isn't malfunctioning, it's being manipulated. So let's look at what's actually happening in your mind when you can't start that project or force yourself to work out. Deep in your brain is a small group of neurons called the nucleus accumbens. You can think of it as your motivation engine. It runs on dopamine. But dopamine isn't what most people think it is. It's not the pleasure chemical, it's the anticipation chemical. Dopamine spikes when you expect a reward, not when you receive it. That's why scrolling feels so addictive. Each swipe might reveal something interesting, so your brain releases dopamine to keep you searching. But here's the dangerous part. When your brain gets flooded with easy dopamine over and over again, it adapts. This process is called downregulation. Your dopamine receptors actually decrease in number, like your brain is lowering the volume on satisfaction. As a result, you need more stimulation just to feel the same level of interest. A book that once absorbed you now feels dull. A workout that once energized you suddenly feels unbearable. This isn't a loss of discipline, it's tolerance, the same mechanism behind addiction. That's why people who spend the most time on social media often feel the least motivated. Their brains have been conditioned to expect constant, effortless rewards. Anything that requires sustained focus feels painful by comparison. The effort to reward balance is completely distorted. Your brain has been recalibrated to crave instant gratification, and real achievement can't compete with that. But the good news is, neuroplasticity works both ways. What has been rewired can be rewired again. Your brain is constantly reshaping itself based on your actions. Every choice either strengthens pathways of discipline or reinforces pathways of distraction. The real question isn't whether your brain will change, it's how you're directing that change. So what exactly is a dopamine detox, and why does it work? Despite the name, you're not removing dopamine itself, you're eliminating artificially intense sources of stimulation. Imagine your dopamine system like a dimmer switch turned up so high that normal light feels like darkness. A dopamine detox is about turning that switch down so your brain can relearn what normal actually feels like. When you remove overwhelming sources of easy pleasure, something powerful happens. Your dopamine receptors begin to recover. They become more sensitive. Activities that once felt boring start to feel engaging again. The satisfaction of finishing a task, the calm after deep focus, the energy after a workout. These natural rewards begin to matter again. You're not becoming someone new. You're returning to baseline. You're rediscovering what it feels like to be driven by internal satisfaction instead of external stimulation. Most people fail here because they approach it the wrong way. They try to force themselves through it using pure willpower. But willpower is limited, and it can't compete with a brain that's starved for dopamine. What you need to understand is the transition phase. For the first few days, you'll likely feel restless, irritated, maybe even anxious. This isn't weakness, it's withdrawal. Your brain has adapted to constant stimulation, and now that stimulation is being removed. That discomfort is actually proof that the process is working. Your brain is being pushed to recalibrate. The problem is that most people quit right before the breakthrough because they mistake discomfort for failure. In reality, that restlessness means your brain is reorganizing itself. Stay with it. Here's how to do this in a practical way. Start by identifying your highest dopamine activities. Not what you enjoy the most, but what gives you the strongest stimulation for the least effort. For most people, it's their phone, social media, short-form videos, or mobile games. But it can also be junk food, online shopping, or pornography. Anything that delivers intense pleasure with minimal effort is your target. You don't need to remove these things forever. You only need to remove them temporarily while your brain resets. Choose a time frame. 3 days is the minimum, 7 days is better, 14 days can be life-changing. During this time, you create scarcity around easy dopamine, forcing your brain to seek rewards in harder activities. But removal alone isn't enough. You must replace. Your brain hates empty space. When easy dopamine disappears, you need to consciously fill that space with slower, more meaningful rewards. Read a physical book instead of scrolling. Cook your own food instead of ordering. Go for a walk without headphones instead of watching another video. Exercise without music or podcasts. Write by hand. Have real conversations. These activities feel boring at first because your dopamine system is still calibrated to high intensity. But as you persist, something shifts. Your brain starts releasing dopamine in anticipation of these activities too. After several days of reading, your brain learns that opening a book leads to insight and growth. After consistent workouts, it starts craving the endorphins and sense of achievement. You are literally retraining your reward system. And this reveals an important distinction: pleasure versus satisfaction. Pleasure is instant and short-lived. It comes from external stimulation and requires no effort. Satisfaction is delayed and lasting. It comes from internal achievement and requires effort. Modern life floods us with pleasure while starving us of satisfaction. That's why you can feel entertained all day and still feel empty at night. A dopamine detox shifts your focus from chasing pleasure to building satisfaction. And here's what most people don't realize: satisfaction generates more dopamine over time than pleasure ever does. When you push through resistance and complete something difficult, your brain releases a powerful mix of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. This is the feeling athletes describe as a runner's high. It's what creators experience after deep, focused work. It's the quiet fulfillment that comes from discipline, and it's far stronger than any notification. Neuroscience supports this. Delayed gratification activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, self-control, and long-term thinking. The more you practice delaying gratification, the stronger these circuits become. Instant gratification, on the other hand, activates older, more primitive brain systems driven by impulse and emotion. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you strengthen the advanced parts of your brain and weaken the primitive ones. Over time, this changes your default mode. Discipline stops feeling like a constant internal fight and starts to feel natural. That's what people mean when they say discipline becomes a habit. It doesn't mean it becomes effortless. It means your brain rewires itself to prefer it.
After a proper detox, you'll notice real changes. Your attention span will grow. Tasks that once bored you in minutes will hold your focus for much longer. Your thinking will feel clearer. Decisions will come easier because you're no longer constantly seeking validation through your phone. You'll have more energy because you're no longer trapped in cycles of dopamine spikes and crashes. Most surprising of all, things that once felt like chores will start to feel appealing. You'll actually want to work on that project. You'll look forward to the gym. This isn't fake motivation. It's your brain functioning the way it was meant to before algorithms took control. But there's an uncomfortable truth. This isn't a one-time fix. Your brain will always drift toward easy rewards. That's not a flaw. It's how it's designed. The solution is building systems where discipline becomes the easiest option. This is where environment matters. If your phone is within reach, you'll check it. If healthy food is visible and ready, you'll eat it. If your workout clothes are prepared, you'll train. Willpower fails when your environment works against you. Design your life so that dopamine-heavy distractions require effort to access, while meaningful activities are easy to start. Remove social apps, use website blockers, put your phone in another room. Make junk food inconvenient and healthy choices effortless. Every barrier between you and distraction is a vote for the person you want to become. There's also a social factor many people ignore. The people around you influence your dopamine baseline. If everyone around you seeks constant stimulation, you'll be pulled in that direction. Surround yourself with people who value focus, discipline, and meaningful work. Their habits spread. This doesn't mean cutting people off. It means being intentional about how you spend your time and who you grow with. Find accountability. Find communities that support the version of yourself you're building. Your brain is shaped not only by your actions, but by your environment and relationships. Now, let's address the real objection. Some of you are thinking this sounds miserable. Why make life harder? That belief comes from a brain already addicted to stimulation. From that perspective, discipline feels painful. But from the other side, discipline feels easier than distraction. Distraction leaves you anxious, empty, and behind. Discipline leaves you confident, calm, and in control. Which is truly harder, endless dopamine chasing or building a life where effort feels rewarding? This is about taking control of your own mind. Right now, your phone decides when you're bored. Algorithms decide what you focus on. Apps decide how you spend your time. That isn't freedom. Real freedom is having a brain that works for you, not against you. It's choosing hard things and enjoying them. It's waking up excited instead of overwhelmed. It's going to bed satisfied instead of guilty. Not perfection, but alignment. Your actions finally matching your intentions. This process never truly ends. Every moment reinforces either discipline or distraction. But after your dopamine system resets, the pull toward distraction weakens and the pull toward meaningful work grows stronger. You develop intrinsic motivation, doing things because they're fulfilling, not because of external rewards. That's the highest form of discipline. It's natural, it's sustainable, and it starts with one decision. Identify the biggest source of empty dopamine in your life and remove it for the next 7 days. Not forever, just 7 days. Observe what happens. Notice the discomfort. Notice when it peaks and when it fades. Notice what fills the space. Watch how your relationship with effort changes. Document it, because once you feel your brain rewiring itself, you won't want to go back. You weren't meant to live controlled by algorithms and impulses. You were meant to do difficult things and enjoy doing them. That version of you is waiting, and the path to becoming them begins with a single choice to step away from the noise and allow your brain to reset. Your brain is ready. The only question is, are you?